Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Elyse Andrews and I really want to be an illustrator. Like really bad, full-time job. That's what I want. I'm pretty sure that's what I want. Anyway, I'm making a new series on my channel where I try to figure out what to do with my art degree and find some sort of creative career. So I'm going to explore for this week. I want to look into how to become an illustrator. So the series, I guess it's titled like, let's learn how to become a blank this week, something like that. Haven't really ironed out the details, but anyway, becoming an illustrator, the dream. How do I get there? Like many other creative careers, I feel like illustration is a pretty elusive path and no one really takes the same way to becoming a full-time illustrator. So I wanted to do some research and learn a little bit how people have gotten to where they are and how I could get there as well, and maybe how you can too. In this episode, I will be looking into illustration. So let's get started. Step 1, doing the research. What is illustration? Hey Elyse, according to the internet, illustration is a noun. It's a picture illustrating a book, newspaper, etc. But it also says on here, I think this is a better definition, an illustration is a decoration, interpretation, or visual explanation of a text, concept, or process designed for integration in published media such as posters, flyers, magazines, books, teaching materials, animations, video games, and films. An illustration is typically created by an illustrator. So, illustration as a concept is that. It's all those things. What qualifications do illustrators have? Do they have to go to school for it, for their undergrad? Do they have to go to grad school? So, what qualifications do illustrators have, you ask? Well, after a quick Google search, it says most illustrators have at least an associate's or bachelor's degree, though it is possible to qualify for some entry-level positions with only a high school diploma and exceptional drawing skills. Now, we do cover this more later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. But also you can get a master's degree in illustration. You can do more than that. Are there any jobs I can apply to? How do I make money doing this? How does that even work? What opportunities are even there? So here's an article that's 7 common illustration jobs and their average salaries. That's pretty cool. Comic book illustrator, courtroom illustrator, forensic artists, film storyboarding, medical illustrator, fashion illustrator, fine art illustrators. Okay, so it seems like that it's a lot of freelance kind of work. It's not necessarily a position you can apply to. I'm pretty sure it's pretty rare to be able to find like an actual position that is illustrator, but if you can find one, that's fabulous. And I wish that I was you. So, what kind of illustrator do I want to be? I have no idea. I mean, I really enjoy doing illustration for like book covers and things. I don't know if I necessarily want to be a children's book illustrator. In general, I'd love to do editorial illustrations, more commercial illustrations, and book illustrations would be great too. Digital or traditional? I am currently probably a lot better at traditional illustration and drawing, but I would like to improve on my digital skills. I'm probably going to try and do some of that later today, actually, when I'm recording this thing. Or both? What's my style? Who knows? Who knows this? This is the biggest question of them all, and a lot of artists it's hard to tell you what their style is. I'd say overall, my illustrations will and are fun, often botanical, and colorful with more of a cool color palette, but I don't know. It's something I figure out with my life, and I go through my life. Who do I want to work with? Ideally, I'd love to work within publishing, whether that is for books or for magazines. I really enjoy both of them. So that's who I would ideally like to work with. So now that we've worked on researching and answer these questions, we are now going to get into the part where I talk to people. And I think this is really important to do if you are wanting to really have any career in anything. You should be talking to professionals in your field. It's really important to network and conduct informational interviews and just have chats with people who are doing what you want to do. So over the past month, I've talked to 2 illustrators, and I also got some good advice from an illustrator about like a year or so ago, and I'm going to include her advice as well into this. But yeah, so I just wanted to share some of the information that I've gotten from them and I've learned about becoming an illustrator. The first and biggest thing that all of them have told me is to draw. Draw, 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 draw. Don't stop drawing, keep finding your artistic voice and your style. It's so important to do. So that's something you can take with you. Another really important thing is to keep a really good portfolio, and you need a portfolio no matter what to show off your work, to show potential employers what you can do. Otherwise, they're not going to hire you. Like, who's going to hire someone if you can't see what they're capable of? And the last main thing that all of them talked about was that it is challenging to be successful in this field, and you're going to have to work really hard to get there. So the first illustrator that I spoke to did not get her undergraduate degree in illustration, but she did get it in art, and she will be attending grad school in the next year. For illustration specifically. So when we talked about grad school, she said that it can make a really big difference, especially if you know what you want to do. So if you know for a fact that you really want to do children's book illustration and you can find programs for you and you have the means to afford it, maybe you get a scholarship or have a TA position and you can do it, she thinks that it's a really good idea to look into that, and it can really help you out. But it's important to know the specifics. And the other thing she told me that was really useful is to really invest in your work and personal relationships, because you never know who is going to provide you with really good opportunities. Whether it's at your job as a graphic designer or just, you know, you're at a family reunion and you're talking with your aunt. Make your work known to them, make yourself appear to be a really hard worker, a really great artist, and hopefully they might pass your name on to someone else down the line. I also got a lot of other good information from her, but it's more kind of personalized to me. So I'm going to move on to the next illustrator, who is a illustrator who also did not get her undergraduate degree in illustration specifically, but she does have a master's degree in illustration. And she kind of echoed the same thing that the previous artist told me, which is to get involved in every single art community that you can. Make yourself an indispensable volunteer. So when someone needs something in the future, they'll know who to call and they'll know who is reliable and who would be a really great fit for a job. So make yourself known and get involved in as many art communities as you can. She recommended to wait a little bit of time before attending grad school. She didn't go directly into it after graduating with her undergrad, so that's something to keep in mind. But she did say that grad school was 100% worth it. She does not regret it at all. It helped her find more connections. She got more knowledge, more experience, just more everything from her experience in grad school. So that's really good and reassuring to know that she had a positive experience, and maybe I could too. Maybe you could too. And she finally said just more knowledge, more skills, more anything that you gain from an experience is always a good thing. Finally, the last illustrator that I'm going to mention in this video actually studied illustration for her undergraduate degree, and she has not gone on to get a graduate degree. And she actually told me that the thing that she wishes people told her when she was younger was that you don't need a degree to be an illustrator, you just need a portfolio and drive. And so I thought that was really interesting and a little bit different from what I heard the other artists tell me, but kind of in a similar vein. So that's something to keep in mind. And she also suggested getting a art-related job if you need to pay rent, if you can ideally find something working at maybe Jerry's Artorama, Azel Art, Michael's, or even like a framing company, or even working as a graphic designer, something like that, where you're kind of utilizing your skills and interacting with other creatives. That could be a really useful thing along the road, and you're building skills that you can apply to your future career as an illustrator. So now that we've got that finished, we're going to make a to-do list. I love a good list. I can develop my personal style. I can make my portfolio. I can shamelessly promote myself on social media. I can get a creative adjacent job that can pay my rent. I can accept exciting illustration jobs, grad school, and apply to that. I can continue to talk to people and learn about their experiences. I can learn more about how to do bookkeeping and run a small business and do invoices, things like that. And I could build up other passive streams of income. So now we're going to do the work. Now, I am not going to do the work that is all needed for becoming an illustrator in this video. I don't have the time frame for that, but I will give you a few concrete actions that you can do to get a little further down this to-do list and start, living your dream, becoming an illustrator, following that passion. So here are some of the things that I plan on doing with my to-do list. So I can draw every day, maybe take on another monthly drawing challenge. I just completed Peachtober, so maybe you can go back and look at the Inktober prompts for this year or a previous year or Peachtober or whatever Tober and do a 30-day challenge in some sort of way. It's nice having the constraints of the prompt and then maybe choose if you're going to do it in ink or if you're going to do it in crayon or something like that, and really limit yourself and then see how your illustration shines through. I can make a list of grad schools that would work for me. If I'm interested in doing more commercial illustration, I can look for programs related to that. If I'm wanting to look into children's illustration, there are tons of programs. I actually know someone who's in a children's book illustration program right now, so I should probably reach out to her and learn about her program. I could actually apply to grad school and look at the applications. I don't need to submit an application. I believe I made another video about my experience applying to grad schools last year. You should go watch that. But I don't think that I needed to pay money to access the application itself, only to submit it. So that's something that you could do. You could look up what grad school you want to go to, see if the application is open, and see just kind of what they're looking for there. That could help you even if you end up not going at all. I could update my portfolio and my Instagram and kind of my plan for my Instagram. I might look up ways to be more engaged with my audience and how to interact with other illustrators on the platform and how to best show my work, maybe show some more behind the scenes footage of making art. I could also, in terms of my portfolio, I can add a more dedicated illustration section to it because right now it's mostly graphic design focused, so I'd like to do that. If you're looking for portfolio websites to use, I use Wix to make my portfolio. I like it, it's fine. I've also heard Squarespace is good, and WordPress, and even Adobe Portfolio. If you have the Creative Cloud subscription, I've heard that that's really good, and I've seen some good portfolios on there. So yes, and then the other thing that I can do is continue to reach out to people. I have a video about this, but a quick rundown of how I have gone about talking to people about their jobs. I will first of all stalk them, find out about them, find out what they do, see if there's someone I want to talk to. I've gone through my school's alumni pages and LinkedIn and my sorority alumni and just tried to find out who's working as an illustrator or a designer and contacting them. And that's worked really well for me. Or you could do the other thing that I've done, which is go to a magazine you like, flip open to the directory or the list of credits of names. And one time I reached out to an art director in a magazine and she was happy to talk to me and she was so nice and so helpful. And it was one of my favorite conversations. But before we even get to the point of having the conversation, you got to reach out first. So what I do is I will connect with them on LinkedIn, send them a message and ask if they will give me about 15 minutes of their time to talk about their job and how they got to where they're at right now. It's been such a great opportunity for me and I've learned so much more than what I learned in school about being an illustrator, which is pretty much nothing. So I can also work on building up my passive income streams to support myself in the future as an artist. I currently have a Redbubble. I make videos about Redbubble. I think it's great. You can also do, I think, Society 6 or maybe start up an Etsy. Anyway, the thing with these passive income streams is they take a bit of time as an investment at the beginning and effort and energy, but once you've got them set up and running, they work for you, and that's kind of one of my goals. So even though I don't make a ton of money each month from Redbubble, I'm trying to build that up and build my account more so I can eventually have it as a nice little bit of a safety net, hopefully, or have several different streams that can build a collective safety net. I can continue to look for a graphic design job or some other sort of creative career. I've currently been really interested in looking in digital media coordinator positions, like scheduling the social media posts and managing content calendars. That sounds like a really fun way for me to engage the little more analytical side of my brain while doing more creative work as a freelance illustrator. So I'm going to keep doing that, maybe that position or working as a graphic designer, something like that. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun to research and make. And please let me know if you have any questions or if you have any recommendations for creative paths I should look into. I'm currently very fascinated with animation and graphic design and like studio art and maybe UX. You see, this is the challenge, trying to figure out what I want to do. But anyway, let me know what you think. And I'll see you on Saturday for the next episode of the Draw Pod, which is my visual podcast, or I'll just see you next Tuesday for my next art or something post-grad related video. Like, subscribe, bye.